If you are looking forward to the Dustin Poirier vs Conor McGregor fight, then be sure to show this by smashing the like button. Thank you for joining me once again, and welcome back to Keenan K TV. In today's video, I wanted to take another look at the Conor McGregor vs Dustin Poirier fight, but mainly in this episode, focus on why Dustin Poirier can defeat the notorious Conor McGregor and avenge his loss from back in 2014. Before we begin, I have already made another episode where I talked about how Conor McGregor can win this fight again, so if you missed that one, be sure to check it out with the link in the description below. And now with that being said, let's jump right into the video. One thing that is of the most importance in this fight is knowing that we are nearing the end of an era. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Khabib Nurmagomedov, all of these elite champions will have their time. Khabib has already moved on. Tony Ferguson recently had his unbeaten run broken in a very devastating manner by Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier already came off of winning an interim title fight, and he has already fought Khabib. He has already been at the top of the division as well. And Conor McGregor, we already know his history at the top of the game. Double world champion, now trying to get his 4th UFC championship. And at some point, we must realize that a loss right now in their careers will not be something that we can brush away and say, look, they still got a future ahead of them. Because right now, we are in that future. The only future that is left is the end. So, it is very important to understand that a loss at this stage of their careers will be very detrimental. For Dustin Poirier, this matchup is one that is a repeat, and a repeat of a fight in which I hope Dustin feels like he wishes he could forget, or something he could set straight. And now he has the opportunity that very few fighters ever get a chance to do so, and that is rematching Conor McGregor after being brutally finished. And in this matchup, these two fighters are not the hungry and toxic individuals they once were to one another anymore. Now they are rather friendly in their exchanges.
In the ring, he was humble. You know, Dustin is a good kid. I had no ill feelings towards Dustin. It was weird to me that he was like, I've never hated a guy as much as I hate this guy in my life, or something like that. He said, to me, that is weird. I cannot hate a man that has the same dreams as me. And, you know, I have no emotion to them at the end of the day. I am on my journey. So he's a humble guy. He came to fight, and I have nothing but respect for these competitors.
And that is one problem that has been alleviated from the shoulders of Dustin Poirier, and frankly, that is a good thing for him in the long run. His mentality will be clear, his focus will be sharp, and he will know what to do in this matchup. In the first fight, he was very emotional. He thought that the anger alone would be enough to get that victory done. But little did he know, when as soon as the bell rung, reality would be very different. Whereas Conor McGregor had talked all of that trash before the fight, really got under his skin, really hurt his feelings, and then all of a sudden in the fight, his mentality was just clear, empty, focused. And then you had Dustin Poirier, who was very clouded, and as soon as all of that pressure of talking trash and that physical pressure of Conor McGregor backing him up and tagging him, it was just a lot for him to handle. But now this time around, not only has he already gone through that loss, not only has he gone through that verbal assault, he has become a fighter who has stepped up his game and fought a lot since that fight, and has experienced a lot of the different sides of the fighting game. He has gone in there and defeated a long reigning champion, Max Holloway, and he has become an interim lightweight champion himself. So by maturing in the fight game, come fight night, Dustin Poirier's focus, game plan, and mentality will be very clear. Will he become anxious if Conor McGregor happens to back him up and tag him up? Will he freeze up, or will he thrive? That is an answer only time will tell. But for right now, I am very positive that this time around, Dustin Poirier will be a lot more relaxed in there. If we take a look at the fighter Dustin Poirier was in 2014 and today, we will immediately see that he has matured in all assets of his game. He has become a lot more aggressive with his submission attacks. He has become a lot more defensively responsible on his back foot, and his ability to finish a fight whenever he sees the opening has become a lot better as well. Now, if you're going to ask me the question, what are the tools that he could use to beat Conor McGregor's game with? The answer to that question will be very limited, in the sense of McGregor's arsenal is always going to be a lot more versatile than Poirier's. McGregor will always be the harder hitter, but it is exactly in that aspect of being able to deal with that power Dustin Poirier has gotten better at. By moving up to the 155-pound division, Dustin Poirier has become heavier, he has become sturdier on his feet, and as a result of him combining his better defense and bigger weight, his chin has gotten better as well. Now, I believe that, yes, at the 145-pound division, Dustin Poirier was a lot more fragile than what he is today, so that will be helping him in the long run. If he can utilize his defense on the back foot, maybe take a few to the chin, perhaps if he has to, and then come back and deliver his own, that is something that he can do now, more so than what he could have done at the featherweight division. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, we have to also remember that even though this is a higher division and his chin has gotten better technically, he has been in a lot of wars with Justin Gaethje, Eddie Alvarez, Dan Hooker. So how fit is he technically? I won't be really sure about the condition of his chin, but I can only presume the best for him. But then again, we are going into a fight with Conor McGregor, who is arguably the most clean hitter, and when he hits you clean, Conor McGregor is very accurate, and when he is accurate, he's very deadly. So will it really matter come fight night? I don't know, but one thing I am once again positive about is the ability for him to take in a little bit more damage, and that is very important because then he won't be fighting too scared, which is the most important thing in this matchup for him. Another improvement lies in his overall boxing. He has become very technical with his jabs. He has become very good at deflecting the shots with a Philly shell type of approach, where he kind of rolls with the shots and then comes back in with his own left straights. Those will be very key, because right now in this matchup, Conor McGregor is fighting another southpaw, right? In my opinion, he has only fought two southpaws in his entire UFC run. One was Dustin Poirier himself, and then the other was Nate Diaz. Obviously, Nate Diaz was very slow, so Conor could, just pick him apart anytime he wanted to, as long as he was not gassed, right? And with Dustin Poirier, this entire element of southpaw versus southpaw will be very important to be able to see another way to beat Conor McGregor than the orthodox opponents Conor has faced, which will really mean that when it comes down to the mirrored stances, that will be gone, so they will be kind of crossing one another. So right now, Dustin Poirier will have to be utilizing a lot more kicks this time around to beat him. And his kicking game has become better as well. He has been throwing a little bit more leg kicks than what he usually does, and I believe that if he utilizes those again in this matchup, it'll be very successful for him. Now, one area he has gotten better at altogether is that inside pocket. He's very good in that pocket. He can dig into the body, he can bring up uppercuts and then the hooks within them, and as soon as Conor McGregor happens to back up a little bit, Dustin Poirier is very good at cutting off the movement from side to side with those hooks and just chase you down up against the fence, and from there Dustin Poirier can do a lot of great work. Now, one area where a lot of people talk about is the fact that, yes, obviously Dustin Poirier should try to mix it up a little bit more. In a 5-rounder fight, try and go in there and wear Conor McGregor down and utilize some of your grappling as well. Now, when it comes to the grappling aspect, I don't believe Dustin Poirier is a better grappler than Conor McGregor. I don't believe Dustin Poirier can take Conor McGregor down whenever he wants to. I don't think Conor McGregor will be even bothered by any of the attempts of Dustin Poirier to take the fight to the ground. In my opinion, the fact that people want to bring in the guillotine attempts that Dustin Poirier likes to go for will most likely come down to either McGregor knocking down Dustin Poirier and then he follows him to the mat, where then Dustin can attempt a guillotine choke. That is one way, or the other way. Let's just assume that Dustin Poirier is able to knock down Conor McGregor by setting up that switch right hand that he has, because in this matchup it is very important for Dustin Poirier to be not linear and not predictable. So the more combos, the more feints, the more that he makes Conor McGregor back up and be defensive, the better it is for him. So let's just assume that he's able to drop Conor McGregor and then he follows him to the mat, and assuming that Conor McGregor is in a sprawl position, he then can snap in a guillotine choke and then perhaps finish off the fight with that submission. So that is the only way I could see Dustin Poirier getting that guillotine choke. It'll be very interesting to see if he could do it. I highly doubt it, but it is also a possibility that we just cannot neglect. So the key factors for Dustin Poirier will be this: do not make the mistakes that you have made in the first fight where you were backing up too easily, you were timid, you were afraid of the power. Obviously it is easier said than done when Conor McGregor is cracking you with all of his might and your legs start giving out, but I would assume that the mentality will be better if he is a little bit more dominant inside the octagon. I also believe that it is very important for him to fake and then set up combinations, because even though we have seen Conor McGregor slip Eddie Alvarez and then counter beautifully knock him out, we have seen Conor McGregor slip Nate Diaz and knock him out, we have seen Conor McGregor slip Jose Aldo, knock him out, but these are all attempts where they just went at Conor McGregor with a blunt shot without a setup, without a smokescreen, and they just walked into a slaughterhouse essentially. So it is very important for him to avoid that. Set up a lot of leg kicks, set up a lot of body jabs, get him accustomed to lower his guard and then bring up something high. Do that. And if he has the opportunity to clinch up Conor McGregor and push him up against the fence, do that as well. Stall the rhythm, break the rhythm, reset the action. The more you reset, the better it is for you. So I believe Dustin Poirier, if he utilizes all of his pure boxing skills and set up a lot of feints and come forward a little bit more and fight in the pocket a little bit more, I believe he will have a lot of success. In terms of stamina and cardio, I believe Conor McGregor, if he's not in control of the tempo, will have a hard time going to the 4th and 5th round where Dustin Poirier can shine through. Now, I don't want to say that Dustin Poirier is this cardio machine. He most certainly is not. He's not a Tony Ferguson. So by the 4th and 5th round, he will be tired as well. But I'm assuming that he shouldn't be as tired as Conor McGregor if he's able to make Conor McGregor work at his tempo and at a tempo that Conor McGregor does not want to work at. So if he's able to force a lot of punches out of him, that's good for Dustin Poirier. So by utilizing a lot of feints and coming forward and fighting in the pocket and using uppercuts and hooks, I believe Dustin Poirier can make it a way tougher fight than what the first fight was. Now, with that being said, let us conclude this video. By the end of it, make no mistake about it, Conor McGregor will most definitely be the favorite in this matchup. Conor will be coming off of a fight where he just looked sensational, and he has been eager for the last year to come back. So when it comes down to it, Conor McGregor will be sharp, he will be very ready. So Dustin Poirier cannot be slacking off at anything. And as soon as the bell rings, expect Conor McGregor to come take your head off, because that is what he's wanting to do. So he should not be really in there caught like a reindeer under bright lights, because Conor McGregor will be the aggressor in this matchup. He will be the fighter that will come forward. He will be able to zone out Dustin Poirier with his kicks, high kicks, body kicks, spinning back kicks, things of that nature. He will zone out Dustin Poirier. So Dustin has to work around that. If he doesn't, it will most likely be a matter of time before Conor McGregor can find an opening and slip in the left hand or a high kick to stun Dustin Poirier and finish the fight. McGregor is a lethal fighter. Dustin knows this, and I hope come fight nights, he won't be too afraid of that aspect of Conor McGregor's game. Because the more the fight goes on, I'm assuming the more openings he could have. But the same rule applies to Conor McGregor. The longer the fight goes on, the more Conor McGregor will be able to read Dustin Poirier, the more openings he will see, and the more counters he will be able to place, and the more devastating lethal blows he will be able to land. So make no mistake about it, this is not a typical the longer the fight goes, the more it favors Dustin Poirier type of deal. It is not like that. Because I don't believe Conor McGregor will be forced to throw more than he wants. So his cardio and his output will be pretty much in control. But the way Dustin Poirier could win is most likely on points, by making it a tough fight where it is pretty much a brawl and a war where Dustin has shown that he can bite down and really come through as the victor. I believe that is most likely the way that he could win. But in the end, only time will tell what will truly happen. For now, this was why Dustin Poirier could defeat the notorious Conor McGregor. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel with the bell notification turned on. And as always, I have been Keenan from Keenan KTV, signing off. Later.